Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's 2 minutes past the hour on this 10th day of June. And it is Tell the Truth Tuesday, another episode of hashtag Truth Be Told and JD Live, a combination of Wellness Wednesday, community conversation, connect the dots, and a lot of stuff that we do. Man, it was rough getting up this morning, but I got up. And thank God that I was able to get up. And when I get up in here, I ain't by myself. I'm with the CEO of Pimpin' Positivity herself. You know, she be in the building. Miss, you better smile and do your thing and be happy on purpose. You're welcome. It is Miss Alethea. Let me give it up. Miss Alethea Crimmins one time is in the building. Alethea, good morning. How are you doing on this?
Good morning. I am up. I'm up by the hardest. I'm up. I got a sick grandbaby,
Oh
but
Lord.
oh yeah,
Oh Lord.
yeah. So yeah.
So you doctoring this morning. You
Oh
doctoring.
yes. I got a sick grandbaby, but I'm here. I am here.
Amen. Amen. 3 minutes past the hour. We're gonna pray that that grandbaby gets to feeling better. That whatever
Yes.
the issue is, a lot of tender loving care, prayers, and some good medicine from the DOCTOR will get him fixed up quite right.
But the good news is he done started walking. So
Okay. Okay. All right now. How old is your grandbaby again?
he will be one on the 29th.
On the 29th of June.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a June baby. My
Yep.
grandson, my first grandchild, he will be one on in July. In July, on the 9th of July. Man, there's so much I wanted to talk about this morning. I don't know if we're going to go there. Um, of course, all of us are talking about the movie Straw.
Mm-hmm.
That's what everybody. I still haven't had the opportunity to see it yet. Have you seen it, Alethea?
My daughter has, and she gave me the like gist of it. Um, my feelings are mixed
Mm-hmm.
because a part of me, and I might get some comments because of it, but coming from a woman,
Okay.
a black woman,
Okay.
a part of me wants to see it, but then another part of me is like, um, I'm tired of seeing this representation of us as black women.
Mm.
So I just want a better depiction of who we are as black. Like we don't always have to be in the struggle. We don't always have to be in the fight. Like I want to see a movie about a successful black woman. I want to see a movie that gives me hope as a black woman.
Mm. Mm. Now
So I mean,
it's it's strange you say that. You know, I good morning to Jules Walls.
good
Good morning
morning.
to James Vincent. Good morning, family. Welcome to hashtag Truth Be Told. Your early morning wake up at 6 minutes past the hour. You know, it's funny that you say that. Let me get some of this out the way. This broadcast is being brought to you by DUBBY, Doobie. Doobie, Dubby, whatever you want to call it. It is the energy drink that keeps us podcasters and us gamers going. How do I know? I was gaming last night and I needed something to keep me going and I needed something to wake me up this morning. So trust me, it's some good stuff. Check them out. You can go to my website, find out more about DUBBY. It is the energy drink that keeps us going. The Essence Music Festival of Culture coming to New Orleans, 4th of July weekend. Alethea, myself, Ignatius Carmouche, we will all be in the building and we will be interviewing folks. We will be on social media giving you essence from behind the scenes and let y'all catch a lot of what's going on. Also, Ford, because I drive a Ford and I think Alethea drives one too.
Yes.
Go
Yes,
get
I
you
do.
one. Being an Explorer, a F-150, a Mustang, you name it, an Edge, you go get you a Ford. All right. Alethea brought up something, and I was talking to Jackson. I'm sure Jax will be on later. We will not have sports today, though. I'm still saying I don't care if it's a moonshot, hot shot, timeout, and call it what you want a shot. Thunder and Five. Elijah will not be on with sports today, but it was funny that you said what you said, because I said everybody's talking to me about this movie, and people are like, before you say anything about the movie, you should go see the movie. And I'm not trying to be a critic of the movie, but I did ask myself this: have we been are we, not just me, but we as a culture, are we normalizing, Alethea, single moms? Are we, and when I say normalizing it, it ceases to amaze me that drama, the normalization of single mothers, the normalization of single mothers struggling, the normalization of a single mother struggling who happen to look like you and I, who could have been my mama. And don't get me wrong, the reality is there are Black women out there who are single, who are struggling, who have probably had it up to here and are sick and tired of being sick and tired. But there are also a lot of successful, beautiful, wonderful Black women who don't wake up every morning going, the man I'm married to, or the man that I'm in a relationship with, is a creep. You know, I'm just tired of everything that we talk about that normalizes us is somebody cheating on somebody, somebody trying to hustle somebody. You know, and I brought this up to Jax, and I asked, do we, I'm trying to find the right words, and I can't find the right words this morning. But do we allow ourselves to see this so much that when we see a functioning, happy individual who is in a good relationship, we feel like, oh girl, that ain't gonna last. He gonna cheat sooner or later. Or our dogs, that ain't gonna last. All she wants you for is your money. She gonna cheat on you sooner or later. I'm just saying, with that being,
Yes.
and I will talk about that. While you talking about that, I'm gonna bring in somebody else that's gonna have a
It's
conversation with this.
I feel like we have been conditioned to think that way, and the media and these movies and these things, like, they're not helping to like they're just adding to what has already been on top of us. So now it's just layers and layers and layers. And just like there are Black women who are single moms and struggling, there are also non-melanated women who are doing the same thing, but we don't see a whole lot of movies about that.
Right.
We do not see a whole lot of movies about that. And most of the time, when we do see movies like that, they always have a happy ending. Why can't we?
Right. Good point. Hold it. And it's funny that you say that. There is a book out. And guess what? When it comes down to books and literature, I have to bring my man in. I have to bring him
Sean
in.
P.
The Sean P experience in the building. The Sean P experience is in the building.
Yes.
Sean, bless
What up?
me.
What up? What up?
Bless me with the name of this book, man. What was the book that the vice president, his memoir, the thing that catapulted him to stardom? They made a movie about it, about how his mom was struggling and all that. I think it was like, what was the name of that book?
I don't recall the name of that book. So you got me on that one. I don't recall the name of that book.
See,
you got me on that one.
Because it ain't a melanated book, but it's crazy. It's crazy because, and I got to find out what the name of that book is. But it's crazy. Yeah. The movie showed how he struggled in school, how his mom was struggling, dealing with addiction. But at the end, here he comes. He makes it to the vice presidency. He makes it to Ivy League school. You know, like Alethea said, when there are movies depicting non-melanated folks who are struggling, the outcome of that movie is they wind up winning. They go from the struggle to winning. We wind up from the struggle
In
to the
jail.
hold it to the grave, as in set it
Jail.
off. Hold it, as in set it off. We go from struggle to the grave, or we go from, and I haven't seen Straw, or we go from struggle, but all of our movies end up when we go from the struggle, our struggle doesn't get better. Our struggle
No,
gets worse. Talk to me,
no.
So,
Sean.
yeah, so
Talk
I
to
got
me.
two things right fast, right? Me having a psychology background, I'm gonna say the movie Straw and the movie Woman in the Yard. Both of those movies, they do a good
Okay,
job of depicting.
I haven't
See,
seen either.
you got to see it to have some real good commentary. You got to see it, right? From that lens, the way they're depicting grief and depression and anxiety and what it's like to be in the cloud of depression, and you really like having an out of body experience. I've never seen it on film like that before, and I really,
Mm,
really appreciated both of those films for the aspect of depicting that and showing that, right? And the second thing is, unfortunately, Joe, being the book guy, I read a lot of old Toni Morrison, Alice
right.
Walker, a lot of
Come
the
on.
classics, right?
Come on.
Unfortunately, Joe, most of those books, it's not a pretty ending. Most of those books, The Bluest Eyes and all the stuff that we all champion, love these books, The Fire Next Time and all that, James Baldwin, is most times not a pretty ending, unfortunately, bro.
Now,
I don't
now,
know the why.
now,
I
now, now,
don't know why.
Sean, let's just be real now. A lot of us do struggle, and a lot of us do deal with a lot of trauma. That's the word I was looking for. That since you have a side, I just left a lot of clinicians and people
Yeah,
who deal with
true.
that. A lot of us have dealt with a lot of trauma and a lot of unaddressed trauma.
And Joe, you know the sad part to this whole conversation?
Out to me.
As a public speaker, right? I tell
Uh-huh.
all of my friends that want to public speak, and maybe you went to jail one time, maybe you got shot, maybe something happened. They say, "Well, Sean, I'm too embarrassed to tell my story." I said, "You know what I'm saying? You go to a school and tell that story, it gonna go crazy. But if I go and tell my story, a good two-parent household, I didn't have no prison background, I didn't get in trouble in the streets, I'm not a street guy." They don't want to hear that. They're like, "Oh, I don't want to hear that, man. You went to college, you got a job, you got married, you got 3 kids that graduated. I don't hear that." But the guy that
Mm,
said, "Man, I got out of jail yesterday, I did 10 years, and now I'm doing this." Oh, yeah, we love that. That's how our culture is, bro. So Tyler
mm.
Perry gonna do 30 more years of this because all the numbers gonna be there. Whenever I
Right.
do this kind of content, it go crazy. Now last year, he had the movie, what it called, the 688 with Kerry
Yep.
Washington about the
Correct.
black women in the World War II.
Correct.
What was the buzz behind that at this level?
Correct.
What
And you do
what
have
what what
you.
what, what, what a TikTok going crazy behind that?
Hey, listen, you have a very good point there. And once again, I'm not right now criticizing. I applaud Tyler Perry for making this movie. And understand, I'm just asking myself, and I don't really know how to put this in the proper vocabulary where folks won't be offended and feel like, well, what is Joe really saying? What I'm saying is, for every tragic story we have, I know there's a success story out there. And why am I not seeing those success stories? That's what I'm saying, Alethea. While
And
I think
Alethea,
I feel like he's doing a amazing job at bringing awareness to the struggles that we do face. I do feel like he's doing an amazing job with that. But I just want to see the ending where we win. Why not use the like star of your shows, Taraji? Why not tell her story? She was a single mama. She did struggle. She went through the trenches, but look at her now. Why can't we tell that story? And her son didn't have to play sports to get her out the hood. Like it was, she grinded and she did it on her own and she made it. Why can't we see more stories like that? Why
17
why
minutes.
why can't we have hope?
But Joe, you a
Yes.
music man, Joe. You a music man. You know the clubs, all kind of scenes.
Talk to
They
me.
want to hear the most. They want to hear the most ignorant, ratchet music.
You
If you
know,
play, look, Joe, go somewhere, put some Christian
ah,
rap on, put some other kind of music on. Cause y'all, man, Joe slipping, man. You put something crazy on.
I mean,
You put something crazy on. It's gonna be crazy.
Sean and Alethea, and it's funny because I see so many podcasts out there talking about straw. And don't get me wrong, once again, the struggle is real. That's what I wanted to say. Are we too busy glorifying poverty, single motherhood, hoish men, hoish women, twerking? Are we too busy glorifying that an intelligent, well-spoken, melanated male or female is literally the unicorn in the room because we don't feel like those things exist? That is what
But,
I'm asking. That's the word I was looking for.
but
Do
Joe,
we glorify the mess and then literally make it seem like if you are a normal functioning individual with a good family, you're trying to have more, be more, do more, you're the dysfunctional part of our society where all this twerking, all this single momness, all the fellas do is cheat and lie.
popping
You know,
pills, taking
hold it,
drugs,
wait a minute.
sipping on lean,
Hold it. Being on why are we normalizing being and look, I'll
fentanyl.
say this
Yeah.
again. Why are we normalizing poverty and welfare as that is a good thing? Like I said this on a couple of podcasts ago, and I put it up there for a reason. Y'all go get your new, is fresh, as new. It is a publication. My girl Alethea, I got to give her some love here because I got to get out of this funk here and tell y'all about this new digital magazine, Pimpin' Positivity. Listen, go get it. This is the inaugural copy. Go get yours. Some great people she has interviewed, some great stories in
Joe.
there. Look, I take me out of it because I was completely
Hey,
surprised
how
when
about
she did it. But
shout out to
nevertheless,
the black press, man? How about shout out to the black press, black
that part,
media?
that
You
part,
know what I'm saying?
that part.
Like
And why won't we?
Jet Magazine,
Hold it.
Essence Magazine,
Wait a minute.
Pure
Now
Positivity.
watch this. If I had a podcast where I woke up every morning, and I can prove it, because I have somebody who wants me to do this. They said, man, you're waking up early in the morning. Let's do this. Let's do a podcast and let us go to all the tracks around the United States of America. Hold it. Let me take you down for a minute, Alethea. We're going to come back to you. I want you to hear this. A person literally called me, a good friend of mine, still a good friend of mine. And I had to think about that. I said, hold up, dog. Why did you just ask me? He said, man, we need to go and show up every morning to every track in the United States of America and do a podcast from the tracks. And I said, when you say track, what are you talking about? He said, the tracks, man. He said, we need to go where these young girls, these young women, and do it from a perspective of this is really what's going on, but put us in a position of how do we save these people? And I said, bruh, if we went out on Figueroa, Bissonnette, Lamar, these are just the tracks I know because of the job I do. Now, some folks might be sitting here going, how Joe know about all that stuff? Some of y'all know my job. Y'all know I'm not just on here doing podcasting. But if we went on Figueroa and showed those young ladies walking around scandalously trying to sell their bodies to the Johns and the tricks that come by, because the track is pimping and hoes. Let's just call it what it is. If I was waking up every morning doing a podcast about pimping and hoes, showing these young women, most of them melanated, walking around in scandalous looking clothes, these numbers would be sky high.
Oh
Joe,
yes,
we can all leave our job.
mine too.
We can all leave the
Too.
job. We can all
Listen.
leave.
Hey, if I was interviewing the pimps that was doing it, putting them in blackface or putting a hoodie on them and putting the microphone in their face going, hey, man, tell me about how you got to this pimp. Man, people would be logging on left and right, up and down the line.
Yes.
Bruh, did you see them boys out there in them boys out there in them streets, man? If I started going like a good friend of mine. Good friend of mine. Me and her laugh all the time. There's a, and I'm gonna give her a shout out. There is a young lady here who does a Facebook page called My Hood is Lit. And she shows when the cops are showing up. She shows when something crazy is going on in the hood. She there. I tell people she out there better than the news reporters. And people are loving it because she's showing what's happening in the hood. I'm telling you, if I went out there today and started filming these young ladies and these young men who are out there dope dealing, selling their bodies, out here pimping and hoeing, out here slanging for the game. If I was interviewing them and waking up every morning, going, wake up to your early morning, let's see what pimp we gonna interview today or what city or state we in. Man, I would have 50 million followers and this timeline would be going up and down like crazy.
But you know what's crazy, Joe? Somebody in the comments said it. We have made the struggle attractive, right? So where a person that does come from the suburbs, like a Ja Morant, you still want to do ignorant type stuff. You went to a Christian school, a private school. You're a multi-million-dollar athlete that have no business in some of these scenarios you're getting yourself into. And some of the other guys as well, you're not even from that. But we've made that so glorified, you're going to pretend to be from that.
Everybody want to be a part of the game. Everybody want to be a part of the game. Shad, I know you got some a book, at least one book that you're getting ready to show. Hold it, a few books. Now watch this. I saw and once again, all I can do is laugh. I saw a comedian, a good friend of mine who's a comedian, and he did a thing where he's like the crocodile guy. He goes, I'm out here in the hood looking for the newest creature, and you know this newest one they got is called the YN. The YN is quite dangerous. You know he's got a weapon and he's ready to go for bear. And you know, and here's the crazy thing. He said, the way I disarm a YN is I pull out my tranquilizer gun, which is full of knowledge, and he starts pulling out books. He said, because it will put a YN to sleep every day. You know, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Knowledge is the
but
key,
it's facts.
Hey, James Vincent, he said it. He's a very good friend of mine. It's culture. That's what we love to pay to see.
Black folks have made struggle interesting. Yes.
Right. And watch this. And even us talking about it. You know, I look at my friends in the podcasting world, and don't get me wrong. The truth about it is there are a lot of African-American women out there that are catching hell. There are a lot of them that are going through a lot of craziness. I give a shout out to my daughter. My own daughter checked me as a father, made me rethink my life. It was too late for me to go back and change some things. But my daughter, in a deep conversation one time in my own house, on my own sofa, my daughter said, sometimes you might need to look in deeper and consider who you laying with and making children with. I say that to all you sisters out there these days. Because guess what? I don't think none of us made our children in anger. You might not be with your baby father. You might not be with your baby mother. But when you laid and conceived this child, it wasn't in anger. Y'all wasn't mad. Y'all wasn't screaming, hollering, throwing stuff at each other, calling each other out each other's name, trying to run over each other in a vehicle. No, y'all made these children out of love. Now, here's the thing. Some of y'all knew exactly who you were laying with when you laid with them. That means in that moment, that person showed you a side of them that probably nobody else saw. You can look at some folks and say, I had, you know, because some folks will look at you and say, how you have a baby from that low down, dirty, no good? Because that person showed you a part of them that's not low down, dirty, and no good. But at the end of the day, you made a choice. You decided to lay down, unless you were raped, either on the male side or the female side. You made a decision to lay down with somebody and have children. And it's just so unfortunate and unfair to see folks after they have made children in love break up and make it seem like your mama ain't nothing, your daddy ain't nothing. We sure was something when we were laying. We felt each other making these babies. I'm just saying, Alethea, give me something from the female point of view on that.
Going back to what James said, that the Black folks made the struggle so interesting. That's how it also is now, because just like Sean said, in music, Black female artists have made being a hoe popular.
Mm.
They have made being a hoe popular. They have made it so these young girls think that if I want to come up in the world, if I want to have money, fame, if I want to have a man take care of me, then my body is all I have. Not me going to make something of myself, not me going, because what y'all don't see is I would love Megan to talk more about her graduating college.
Texas Southern. Come on now.
Instead of making it seem like whole shit is gonna get her where she, then why graduate college then? Why do that? Because you know that without graduating college, like you have to have some type of knowledge. But I would like you to show that side to these young girls. Show that. But that's not what we do. We'd rather watch all the like sexy reds and the Cardi B's and the this and that and the other, thinking that this is real life. And it's not.
Hey, y'all.
Come on, Sean.
Y'all know Lil Wayne a college graduate, right?
Facts.
Y'all know 2 Chainz a college graduate, right?
Facts.
Facts.
And he is very intelligent. 2 Chainz is very intelligent.
Swizz Beatz with the Harvard University for business. Swizz Beatz.
Come on.
We can do a whole list of these artists, but they don't show that side of themselves, is my point.
Exactly.
We don't get no bars like that whenever they doing their thing to show this academic side. And it's a disservice to the community, man.
Because that doesn't sell in the Black community. But when was the last time that you saw a white woman talking under her clothes? When was the last time that you heard a song from a she ain't got to do all that?
Hold on. Let me freeze y'all right there. Bottom of the hour. Normally we're going into sports, but we don't have sports today. I'm still saying Thunder and 5. Think about this, and I'm going to name some names for y'all. Thunder and 5. I said what I said. Alethea said Thunder and 6. How do you say Thunder and 5 too? Well, Sean,
Thunder 5. Thunder 5. And I got 5 on it.
Okay, Thunder and 5, and he got 5 on it. Okay. I want to name some names. Why haven't we seen the Monica Lewinsky story from the point of view of what she did? I'm just saying.
We've never seen that.
Okay. Why? What was the and God bless her soul, because I think she had some mental issues, some substance abuse issues, and I don't forget, did she take her life or what happened? But what happened to the girl? She had big breasts. Everybody was crazy about a Caucasian.
And Nicole.
And right. Why are we hearing her story of watch this, of the hoeing side of the story? Hold up, because guess what? Some of these women did some calculated moves, because watch this. If you sleep with another woman's husband as a woman of color, they ain't gonna be there talking about, you were victimized and He was the president. Hold it. Because look, I tell you how it was on Scandal. And Scandal was a make-believe story. I saw folks going, I had literally sit at tables and hear non-melanated women, a table over, talking about that Olivia Pope was a hoe. Well, hold up. Did y'all say that about Monica Lewinsky? No, she was victimized. Look at how he exerted his power. And that's another thing I'm getting tired of. I'm getting tired of when we walk in a room and we're confident, when we walk in a room and we're educated and we know what we're talking about. If the room has got 10 people in it, 8 of those 10 people in there are going to say, who this cocky, arrogant, think he knows so much or think she knows so much, black man or woman.
Facts.
But a Caucasian individual or a non-melanated person will walk in more confident, less educated, and more feeling like they belong there. And everybody in the room will be like, oh, he's a leader. She's who we need to carry us on. You look at their credentials and put it up against a melanated person's credentials and be like, not as educated, did not graduate as high in their class, did not put it. And I always say this, we have to put in 5 times amount of the work to just be an employee. Forget owning the company.
And even Kim Kardashian, isn't it? Even though she got where she got from a sex tape
via Ray J,
she does not live that life. You ain't never heard her doing none of that stuff no more. And James said it best. We don't even own what we selling.
Come on.
Somebody who don't look like us is making most of the profit. We are getting the crumbs while someone else is getting the loaf. We don't even own what we sell.
I mean, I'm here to tell y'all something. It ceases to amaze me. I'm a part of the social media family. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on X. And on all these social media platforms. And I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy from the point of view that you just see it and you see, and don't get me wrong, there's some good influencers out there. There's some good people who are doing great things. But most folks, if you want to go from 0 to 100 and get paid, make them laugh and make them laugh or act the ass or take all your clothes off and show your ass.
Oh, yeah.
Hold it.
No,
make them laugh, act the ass, or take off, and that's male and female. Hold it. Hold it. Make them laugh, act the ass, or show your ass.
Black people, because you and it for a while, like this was the biggest thing. They had this pretty white girl, and she took a reggae song, literally let the song play, and she sat there like this and did not move and had over 50 million views.
Hold it. Point blank, period. Look at the Dangerous Dance. And I think the girl who, and you know, once again, I still haven't, because I don't get down that rabbit hole that deep. I don't know if she's white. I don't know if she's mixed. I don't know if she is the fairer hue of our melanated, on our melanated scale. But here's what gets me. And once again,
because she look white.
Hold it. If you're white, you're all right. This is really in the back of our heads. This is how a lot of folks psychologically look at this. If you're white, you're all right. If you're brown, stick around. If you're black, stay back. Now, she didn't even invent the dance, but she the one who made the dance go viral.
Facts.
And that's, hold it. And the girl who invented the dance is as dark as I am. A dark, lovely sister.
But and that girl got paid, and the one that made it didn't get paid like that. That's crazy.
So
Nothing.
once again, we really got to start addressing and asking. And look, before I start talking about white folks, black folks got problem with black folks. I live in the state of Louisiana, where right here in this grand state, there are some light-skinned black folks that feel like they are in a whole class and category by themselves, and there are classism here. Not only social economic classism, but it's the hue of your skin classism. Because y'all know it. Y'all are Louisianians. I'm not. When I first got here and heard the word passe blanc, I said, "What's passe blanc?"
Yes.
They said, "Baby, this been going on for the longest."
Yes.
Passing for white. Come on,
Hey, Joe.
talk to me. Yes, sir.
You said the whole scenario about coming into a room and you confident and you educated, you speak a certain way. I'm thinking about black people the whole time you said that scenario.
Right.
I don't think about white people. I think about black folks that say, look at him. Who do you think he is?
Hold on. In my soon to be 58 years of living, if I live to see 12 more days, soon to be 10 days for Alethea, because Alethea is not as old as I am, but her birthday's coming up in 10 days.
Yes.
Mine's coming up in 12. If I live to see that day, I can literally say trauma. That's the word I'm not going to call it physical harm, mental harm. I'm not going to call it doing me wrong. Most of the trauma I have suffered in my life was at the hands of folks that look just like me.
Yes. That's just a like real thing. Real thing.
I'm just saying, Sean and Alethea, if you really think about it, though I was always told to beware of the non-melanated folks, when it came down to losing jobs, most of the time I lost a job because of somebody who looked just like me. Most of the time, if somebody was upset about the money I was making, the position I had, or had something to criticize everything I did or everything I was doing, it was somebody that looked just like me.
Joe, you were still shocked when I told you that, and Joe was like, "No, you can't be serious." I said, "Joe, you are the only person that has given me a chance. Like nobody else." Now, the white people like that. I am just going to be transparent and real. How I got on J HUD was not by nobody black. How I got everything I've got is not by anybody black. How I did is not, because they will look at me and think that I think I'm too much, so they won't try to help me level up, not knowing that you helping me level up. I will turn around and do the same thing for you. Joe is the only one that reached out and said, "Look, why don't you come and do this with, not for me, with me?"
Hold
on. And Sean know me. Sean, hold it. Now I ain't gonna toot my horn, but I'm gonna talk about some folk for a minute. I have consistently done this, and here's why. That's just my heart. And this last week, I had some people, some clinician folks tell me, "You're trying to save that little boy that wasn't saved, that was abandoned and abused." And I kind of cried this weekend, and I kind of cried last week, and I realized that even in my 50s, about to be 60s, I still got some unresolved trauma. But I ain't gonna name no names. There are folks who have had speaking engagements at Essence because I'm in the room and their name was mentioned, and everybody said, "Well, don't you know her? Or don't you know him?" And I'll be like, "Yeah. Why do you think?" Folk who, when I needed them to call me and check on me to see how I was doing, my mental health was doing, knowing I had went through hell and high water, that I had went from making almost $70-some thousand, $80,000 a year to zero, didn't call me, and then had the mitigated gall to look me in the face and be like 4-5 months later, "How you doing? You all right? You don't look good." you ain't called me then. Why you asking me how I'm doing now? But I'm the one in that room who could have said, no, I don't know her. I don't know him. But I said, wonderful people. Highly recommend that you get them to do whatever. I have had photographers. I ain't gonna mention no names. And I ain't talking about Gilbert Anderson. Gilbert, my dog. Gilbert, my dog. We ain't related, but he like a big brother. I done brought people into spaces. Gilbert took pictures of Prince at Prince's last performance at the Essence Music Festival. Those pictures are worth a lot of money this day because that was his last time on stage before he passed away. I have opened doors for so many folks and have not asked for nothing. But them same folks, I'll be the same folks that'll call Alethea and say, why are you working with Joe? Don't nobody like Joe.
Yes.
The same people will call Sean and say, why are you working with Joe? Don't
Yes.
nobody
That
like
happens.
Joe. See,
Those
but
phone calls happen. That happens.
they won't tell how Joe, when they won't tell Alethea or Sean, oh, that's the same Joe that when my lights were getting ready to get turned off, the same Joe that said, I didn't even have to ask Joe. Joe said, hey man, or hey, Miss Ma'am, or hey, Mr. Sir, here, it's all I got. And guess what? Joe was struggling to pay bills too. But Joe said, if we're going to struggle together. Here's a little something, and didn't ask for it back. It wasn't a loan. It wasn't this. It wasn't that.
But this is why, and it did not. Let me just make this perfectly crystal clear. Even if you did not open one single door for me, I would still be here right now doing what I'm doing for you, not because of what you can do, but because of who you are as a human being. And I will say this in front of any and everybody who is watching, and I will say it to your face. I will always and forever, as long as I have breath, stand 10 toes down for and with Joe.
Hold it.
And whatever Joe asked me to do, I'm yep. Yep.
Hold it. And I'm gonna make you laugh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This with Sean. I called Sean last night. I said, Sean, I need Joe today. Sean said, no problem. And Sean just getting off work. Now watch this. Here's something else. Alethea and Sean have exceeded far more in the business of what they do in podcasting than I have. I'm an OG in this game. People know me from old school radio. People know me from what I've done at Essence. And I told Alethea, I wasn't even going to Essence this year. I was sending Alethea and Ignatius.
I was like, oh.
To help represent my brand and what I do, but to help build their brand and what they do. Because I've been dying to pass the torch on to someone else. Sean knows it. When I meet authors and stuff, the first person that come out my mouth is, man, I know a guy named Sean P. Let me connect you with him because he would love to review your book and talk about your book. And guess what? Alethea made it to J HUD. I ain't made it to J HUD. Sean has interviewed some folks I had never thought about interviewing. I might have put a mic in front of them and took a picture with them, but I passed the real work of explaining their work and how to get their work to people like Sean. Here's what I'm trying to say, y'all. And even those who this day and time have used me, abused me, and done me wrong, I will go back and do it the same way. Because I don't just say this as a cliche is saying. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I want us all to win. I want us all to win. So,
and that is why, Joe, whenever we was putting this magazine together, there were several people that reached out and was like, well, who do you want to feature? Who do you want to feature? I said, wait a minute. And you never asked me, even though you knew I was doing this.
I didn't. Oh, you asked
you
me.
never asked me.
Listen, Alethea, I'm gonna make you laugh.
Why did you think I was asking you them questions?
Hold it. I thought for real. I thought you were doing the same thing I was doing, and I'll be very honest. As we are getting ready to go to Essence, nobody ever invest into. All these years going to Essence, most of the time it comes out my own pocket. So I was like, you know what? Let me start trying to get some sponsorships this year outside of the sponsorships I have. See, the sponsorships I have, people don't know. That's what pays for this podcast. That's what pays for my website. That's what pays. That's where I don't have to. And I've never asked anybody who comes on this podcast, partner with me on a podcast, or do any venture with me. Hey, I need y'all to pay me. No, because I have sponsors that pay me for the year. My platform, and these platforms cost. And you know, I
Tell
just
them,
gotta
Joe.
say it, you know,
Tell
I
them,
got a
Joe.
digital radio station. The
Tell them,
people
Joe.
who house my digital radio station, that digital radio station ain't free. My website ain't free. All these hosting and
It ain't.
housing fees ain't
It
free.
ain't.
But I don't
It
never
ain't.
ask anybody for anything because I normally have two big sponsors. One is Essence, and normally somebody else who pays for all of that. But still, when I travel, I have to figure out ways to be creative and say, look, since I'm there, can I promote your business while I was there? Honestly, Alethea, I thought you were just asking for that information where you could say, hey, I'm going to Essence. I'm going with Joe. Maybe you could sponsor me or sponsor Ignatius or sponsor us or whatever. I said, well, she needs that to say, look, you can go and look. These are the people because that's what I'm doing right now. I'm telling people, look, if you want your brand in front of some of these people I'm going to be interviewing, I'll say this picture was sponsored by this company. And I'm trying to get little sponsorships to help absorb some of the cost of hotels, travel, and food.
Facts, because Jesus.
I'm just saying, you got hotels right now in New Orleans for the weekend. It's
Agree.
$300-$400.
Joe.
So look, if you're
I'm glad-
watching and you would like to invest, not in Joe Dupree, Alethea, and hashtag Truth Be Told, JD Live, but if you want to invest in yourself, because I promise you, whatever you sow into us to promote your business, you gonna get more than what you gonna get more than what you pay for.
But I love you going into the business of this
wait.
because people don't realize, even doing like my podcast, for an example, the platform costs.
Right.
When I'm going to get all these books, that's not free. All the materials to do the show costs.
Right.
It does.
Other things cost. Like you said, websites cost. So it's things to be paid for. But you're a consumer just pressing the button like, oh, he's just pressing the button just talking. Like, what? This is a full out business. You know what I'm saying? This is a real thing.
You know, and this is the crazy thing. I have literally opened door. Watch, there are folks who work at bigger radio stations. There are folks who work for TV stations, bigger than little old Joe Dupree. But when it comes down to certain things, I'm the one that gets them at the table in the door. And I ask myself, have I ever had that reciprocated back to me? I have. I can give you a list of folks. I can do it on one hand. I'm actually with two of the people right now. So that means there's only three other people I can talk about. Two of them right here that I can say, guess what? These people opened doors for me. These people called me and said, hey, Joe, I was thinking about such and such. Did you think about something? Let me connect y'all. Hey, but guess what? I still do what I do regardless because I'm not doing it for click, like, and share. I don't wake up every morning and look at the number of people who logged in or how many comments or this and that, because guess what? The grace of God has allowed it that all of this is paid for. And I just say, God, I always say this, God will provide. I say that
though. Look how I said it. I don't live my life for content. Ooh. This is just my life. I put the camera on for a small period of time. You get a little snapshot. And then I go about living that same life. I've always said, if I was on the island by myself with no smartphone, no cell phone, I'd still be reading all these books. I'd still be doing everything else you see me doing at a whatever scale. I would still be doing those things, a TV show or not. So that's not, I don't live for content. You know what I'm saying?
Right, hold it. This is my life. Hold it. And watch this. So when I see folks that are quote unquote, and don't get me wrong, I'm not giving a bad name or stigma to this. There's a lot of great content creators out there. There's a lot of great influencers out there. But here's what happens when those folks are not doing it genuinely from the heart. When then it gets exposed and the mess comes out. A person talking about, hold it. A person talking about stop the violence, then you hear them making violent threats. A person talking about be faithful, love your wife, love your spouse, love your partner, then they get caught cheating. a person who talk. I'm just saying. Hold it. Watch this. See, when folks are doing it for click, like, and share, exposure is coming because while you sitting there thinking you getting away with a paycheck from Meta, a paycheck from YouTube, a paycheck from Twitter and TikTok and all that, the Most High is sitting going, I can expose you. I can show folks that all this stuff you've been talking ain't really who you say you are. Because watch this. And sometimes folks don't care about being exposed, being in a criminal light, and doing time. Because guess what? That's being glorified too. Didn't Trump just what was the white guy and his wife that did the reality?
Tom Chrisley.
Okay, so the Chrisleys,
Todd.
Right, whatever. The Chrisleys, they done been indicted, convicted, did time, and now they still. And guess what? It ain't affect their paycheck one bit. And they can sit there and cry all they want to, talk about, oh, we ain't got no money. I promise you, because I know how much these interviews get sold for. When they just got a presidential pardon. That means, guess what? You can come back and find some stuff and say, we should charge them for this too. Once you get a presidential pardon, they can't do that. You pardoned for life. You got a clean slate. Hold it. NBA young boy, he ain't got to worry about the feds no more. Larry Hoover ain't got to worry about the feds no more. And with that being said, y'all, we lost the great. Sly done went to heaven. It's a family affair in heaven right now. And I'm just saying, y'all give it up for Sly and the family stone, because Sly went on to be with the ancestors. And 7 minutes to the top of the hour. And this is one of them shows I feel like we should go further, because we've got to start saying to ourselves, we all have been through trauma. Some of us have overcame a great deal of trauma. Let's start telling those stories. How I was at rock bottom, but I overcame.
And you know what?
Come on, Sean.
We gotta avoid. Be careful of trauma bonding. We assume I resonate with that so strongly, and you mistake it for a genuine, authentic bond. But whenever one of y'all heal, hopefully, the vibration not on the same wavelength no more. Y'all attraction and the connection was, man, you jacked up, I'm jacked up too. And I've seen it 1,000 times. Working at rehab centers, working at mental health places. The main thing to avoid is like love affairs in those places.
Oh, yeah.
Both of y'all are so vulnerable.
You GBA. You GBA.
Yeah.
Hold it. And that's not guilty by association. That's good by association. You drunk, I'm drunk too. We good by association.
Yes.
Hold it. Say, hold it. That's not guilty. That's not guilty by association. That's good by. You talk to young girls. Oh man, I talk to young girls too. We good. I don't know what they're talking about. Oh, you deal with them young boys. I deal with them young boys too. Oh, you get high. I get high too. We good. They the ones.
But this is my thing.
But
this is my thing. And these are the same people that's crying about how they want to heal, but you can't heal if you keep going around the same people that made you sick to begin with.
People, places, and things, right? People, places, things. You got to change some of these variables for you to change.
Exactly.
Well,
because discipline only goes so far. Your will only goes so far.
All right, let's do this.
I didn't make the game. I didn't make it.
Hold it, and watch this. The game will still be the game, even though through the years the players will change.
The game gonna be the game. The game
right?
Gonna be the game.
Hold up. Well, there was back in the day there was a dude called Russell, played for the Celtics. There was a dude called Chamberlain, played for the Lakers. Back then they said, man, there won't be another. But guess what? The game kept going, and guess what? New folks showed up. There was Kobe's, and there was Shaq's, and there was Jordan's, and now there's James's and
Brunson's.
Okay, I'm just saying. Okay, with that being said, look, bro,
But Joe,
we got 4
you,
minutes.
you
I
are,
need you to go through these books. Tell me these books you got, man. I'm gonna give you the flow. Tell me these
yeah,
books
yeah,
you
yeah.
got,
Here we
and
go.
then
So,
Alethea gonna give some closing words, and we
okay,
gonna
cool,
get up out of here.
cool.
Come on, show me
So,
this book.
we started off on movies, right? I'm gonna go to the
Uh-huh.
movie Sinners. I know
Uh-huh.
by now, hopefully all of us have seen Sinners, hopefully more than one time, right? So
Uh-huh.
I have The Wind on Her Tongue by Anita Kopak. I'm interviewing her tomorrow, better back on the podcast.
Okay,
She is
tell
on
everybody
Charlamagne the
about your
God.
podcast. Tell them about your podcast and where they can
Yes,
see this interview at. Talk to me.
yes. So my podcast is called The Sean P Experience on YouTube, where I interview authors of different kinds, bestsellers, Pulitzer Prize winners, independent, just starting, first time, the whole gambit. I've had filmmakers, athletes, editors, just interesting people. I try to bring out the best attribute in them. Hopefully, we can all learn something to apply to our own life. I'm gonna have Anita Kopax on the show. She's on Charlamagne the God Press, Joe. It's called Black
Mm-hmm.
Privilege. That's the
Mm-hmm.
more Black Press, Black Media.
Right.
But in Sinners, you had the African spirituality. You had some of the old hoodoo, the old voodoo, all of these elements. And this
Mm-hmm.
book is about the Orishas and Shango and Yemiya. Oh
Mm.
yeah, and all these different traditions and things. That's the second book right here, The Wind on Her Tongue. Right?
Mm. Okay.
The next
Okay.
book, in Sinners, we saw the convict leasing, the slaves on side the road, and they doing cotton and they doing other kind of things, you
Yes,
know.
sir.
They, they,
Yes,
they,
sir.
they're getting convicted. So this is after slavery, but you're still being enslaved by a different name.
Mm.
So slavery by a different name, right?
Mm.
And the full title is The Re-Enslavement of Black Americans from the Civil War to World War II.
Woo. Get that.
So that's two. And then the last one for a bonus throw in, one of my favorite writers of this day is the brother Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Come on now.
We Were 8 Years in Power. This book is
Ah.
a collection of essays. He was writing about President Barack Obama during his presidency. And as the book is going along, he's giving some real good critiques and analysis on Barack Obama at that time, but also some other good things thrown in there as well, man. So I love this
That's
brother. I love his work. Go and get that.
okay, Sean P. Give me some closing words. Tell them about your podcast, man. I appreciate you coming on, my
Yeah,
friend.
man. Again, man, my podcast, a lot of my viewers are people that want to write books. They want to get their foot in the water. I love asking my guests how you wrote the book. What's your research process? What's your writing process? What's the business of books? A lot of folks don't realize that. What these contracts like? What's the distribution like? What's these other kind of things? I'm trying to get to the nuts and bolts of what make them a best-selling author so that we can all take some of that and put our own little spice on it, man. That's the Sean P Experience on YouTube. I got probably hundreds of shows already on YouTube. Go there, you get bored, check it out. Get a nice drink, get your favorite snack, man, and tune in to the experience.
That's what I'm talking about. My man, Sean P. Sean, hold tight. We're going to do a little overtime. Alethea, talk to me now. Hold on. Let me put this up. Y'all go get this magazine. Y'all go get it.
First of all, he keep putting that picture up. He gonna put that one. I'm gonna show y'all this one. This one right here. This one. This.
They see enough of that. They see enough of that old that bald headed dude, that
and
rascal right there.
The title of this article is Joe Dupree Anderson, building a platform and shaping what? A legacy.
Come on now.
He is shaping a legacy.
Thank you, sis.
The mouth of the South, baby. The mouth of the South.
Listen.
Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna do a little overtime. I wasn't. Are y'all good for another 15?
Yes.
Okay, y'all good for another 15.
As y'all can see, this is my podcast in the passenger seat with your girl. And anywhere where you can hear podcasts is where you can find me. I also have a YouTube channel. Y'all please go like and subscribe, and that is where you can find all of my shows. I have some amazing guests, and my podcast is I don't want to interview who you see. I want to interview who you don't see.
Woo, that part.
I want to interview them for real.
That part.
So this is who you get to know.
Okay, family. We're gonna do a little overtime. It's 1 minute after. I want to say this. We had 1 hour of us really pouring out our hearts, giving you our opinions. Once again, that's from our opinions, our lens of life. Doesn't mean that that's your lens of life. Doesn't mean you agree or disagree. You may disagree with everything we said. That's fine too. We're not here to argue. We are here to say this is how we see it. And if you can sit down and tell us how you see it, we may change the way we see it. Because to me, the perspective that one has to do with the amount of information one has on that subject. And sometimes we just don't have enough information. With that being said, how are y'all feeling about what's going on in California right now? Or better yet, what's going on with Los Angeles, San Francisco, some of these major cities, and how Sean, who is a former military man like myself, we're watching armed military, not just National Guard, but actually active duty individuals get, and I'm going to remove you, Alethea, get deployed into American cities as riot control.
Man, this is crazy, Joe. This is unbelievable, man. But we have seen it before.
Oh yeah, we saw what happened in Watts. We saw what happened when we saw what happened when
Ferguson, right, Mike Brown.
Right. We saw Ferguson. We saw Watts. We saw
Breonna Taylor.
Right, hold it. We saw what happened in Louisville. We saw now this is the thing. Once again, and I'm gonna bring Alethea back. You know, and I gotta say this the best way. There are folks who will not like you because of the beliefs you hold. It's Pride Month. Yes, I said it. It's Pride. Hold it. It's Pride Month. And guess what? For those, it's Pride Month. And I ain't got a problem saying it's Pride Month. I ain't got a problem with people who celebrate Pride Month. It's Pride Month. It's also Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And a lot of men have some mental health issues and need their trauma addressed. It's a month for something or somebody. At the end of the day, we are all human beings. We are all human beings. I think I said that earlier. You know, I understand somewhere along the line, and I'm just going to say this the best way I can. We've got to look at this from a human being standpoint and point of view, from the victim side and from those who are on the side of saying we are peaceful protesters. Understand, if I was sitting here right now and my child, my wife, my sister, my brother, my mother, my father had been murdered, molested, or harmed by somebody who was in this country illegally, I would probably feel a certain type way about folks who are here illegally, no matter where they're from. I don't care if they were from a European country. I wouldn't care if they were here from a Hispanic country. I wouldn't care if they were here from a third world country. The moment that harm comes to those you love, you start feeling a certain way about the person who harmed that person you love. Period. That's just the humanistic side of it. Does that mean that everybody who's over here, like that person is over here, will do the same thing that person did? No, it doesn't. And that's where we've got to wake up, family. We got to wake up.
I think this is more about shaping the public perception. Like this is not about addressing unchecked violence. It's about making a like federal show of force. Like you want to show them who's in charge, who has the upper hand, and you want the world to perceive that there's so much violence going on. And look at us. stopping violence, but you're just adding to it. Like you're escalating what maybe was this big of a problem, but you're escalating it into this.
You know, Alethea, 7 minutes past the hour, and I said we're just going to go over for 15. We might go over a little bit more, but I want to say this and sprinkle this in here. This is the first time in my life, 58, soon to be 58 years, that I've seen people who are elected officials criminalize and weaponize the office they sit in toward other individuals who were their opponents. I've never seen that. When I was growing up, Jimmy Carter may not like, because he was a Democrat, he may not like Gerald Ford and the way the Republican Party did things. But he never portrayed to the American people that the Republican Party was full of a bunch of criminals and folks that were up to no good, and that they should be prosecuted, thrown in jail. This is the first time in my life I see political opponents on both sides literally, instead of saying you need to go to the ballot box and you need to vote these people out because they don't have your best interests, no, they say you need to help me put these people in jail because
Like you are
right.
You are using the military as your bullies.
Right.
Like that's what this is. Like this is not a natural disaster. Like there's no need for them to be out there using the military for domestic dispute control. Like that is what this is. This goes against like
I mean it's our military
what the US stands for. Like you're using this like they're your henchmen.
Hold it.
Right now.
Sean served in the Navy. I served in the Army. The Marines are being mobilized and deployed to Los Angeles. Now, listen to what I'm about to say. Hold on. I want y'all to think about this. The military. Before we get into the military, which Sean can testify and I can testify, the military has a specific job. Law and order is the job of law enforcement. Okay, let me say that again. The military has a specific job. The job of law and order is the job of law enforcement. So before you get, okay, here you are, you're deploying the military. Let's take the military out the picture. This is Los Angeles. This is the world famous LAPD. So let's say the LAPD can't get the job done. Where's the state police in California? Okay, so let's say you got LAPD on the ground, you got the state police on the ground. You feel like they can't get it done. Well, what's the next policing agency? Isn't there some federal policing agencies like the Federal Department of Safety? There are so many agencies that could be brought together in a joint task force to be deployed to help LAPD keep law and order, because understand, the training of a soldier and the training of a law enforcement officer is two different types of training.
Yes.
Go on, Sean. I got a question.
Talk to
you
me.
You made a distinction between the two, right? Mm-hmm. But over the years, they have militarized the police so much. They have blurred the lines over the years between the military and the police. The weaponry and what they're using, what they're having, like this is going to another level now.
But this is my question.
They can easily employ the military because it's just like it. It's getting there.
But this is my question though. As a Marine, you don't have the authority to arrest anybody. Like you don't have that.
But you can be given, but you can be given that authority. See, that's what people aren't talking about, because people don't read laws and statutes, and they don't understand that when the president does these things, he now gives them the authority, and that's why right now California, even with Gavin, with Newsom.
But like, isn't there like act or something that prevents them from?
Let's not assume they're trying to arrest.
Right.
By
Right.
that point.
Hold it.
Who
Because you got
said
to
they're trying to
understand.
arrest? Who said
Because you
that?
got to right. Because none of us knows what orders are being given
Look this up
to these
because
individuals who are there. We don't know because I'm not there. And you know, to hear the president of the United States of America saying that the governor of California should be arrested and thrown in jail is sad to me. Because guess what? Every governor has his own sovereignty in his own state. The citizens of that state elected that governor. And at the end of the day, we all know that it just ceases to amaze me that had this been a Republican governor, he wouldn't have been talking that way. And that's why it kills me to see all this. It's us against them, black against white, left against right, Muslim against Christian. We're all human beings. Somebody should say this. Yes, I'll raise my hand. Let me raise my hand and say this. Yes, if you are illegally in this country and you are a criminal and you came over here not to flee oppression and not to flee, but you came over here with the sole purpose to continue your criminal organization in this country as you did in the country you came from, you don't belong here. Period. But if you fled somewhere, like the Pilgrims, if you fled somewhere because you were being oppressed and you wasn't getting a fair handshake and you had taxation and no representation like the Pilgrims.
But Joe, the beginning of sinners, talking about the Irish and the Italians.
Yeah, if you
whenever they first came over.
Right. If you were fleeing the king and his oppression, like the Pilgrims, then this country should be very inviting to have you here, because the last time I checked, this country as we know it today was formulated by folks who ain't from here. They ain't from here. The indigenous people here didn't even the indigenous people didn't even have a say. Some folks showed up in some boats, threw up a flag and said, "This is mine."
So I just looked it up, and I'm gonna probably pronounce this all wrong, but the Posse Comitatus Act, PCA,
okay,
it generally prohibits the use of U.S. military for domestic law enforcement purposes. It aims to prevent the military from being used to enforce laws unless it is explicitly authorized by Congress or the Constitution.
Okay.
So once again, hey, what you just said, Alethea, was right on point. Here's the problem. If Congress, which is right now majority Republican, and when we say Congress, we mean the House of Representatives and the Senate, if they feel like we ain't gonna say nothing because it's our guy that's in the Oval Office, Congress only has power when Congress says we're going to use the power given to us to do what we need to do. And if they're sitting there being quiet, because politics has went crazy, we really got to get some real politicians in office to say politics cannot be over people. It's got to be people over politics. And sadly, even locally, in Opelousas, in Lafayette, in Breaux Bridge, in Jeanerette and Franklin, we got too many people who are politicians who aren't nothing but pimps in disguise. They ain't concerned about the people. They ain't concerned about the people. They ain't concerned about the people at all. They just pimping. They doing just what a pimp does. They just pimping. They done got in there.
Pimped up, hold down.
That's what they doing. Because at the end of the day, let's just be real about it. All they're concerned about is themselves, their family, and other folks around. They ain't concerned about the people because they not like a Joe Dupree, an Alethea, or a Sean P. They're not like us. Because guess what? I'm the type person I've lived this life. I have lost a job that I know now was for the greater good of the community, it hurt me to lose the job. But now I know it was best for the community. And sometimes if I lose at the expense of the community winning, actually I won because the community won. Everybody don't move like that. Everybody do not move like that. People will tell you they move like that. They ain't moving like that. They really don't move like that. That's why a lot of folks do what they do and make the coalitions what they make and collaborate the way they collaborate with people. We got a lot of folks, when you see them in the hood, they dap you up, brother this, sister this, that, these, and those. And them same folks are Watusian they ass to the non-melanated communities talking about I'm the spokesperson for all of them. Yeah, that's what they're doing. And they in them rooms with them non-melanated folks, Moti, yeah. Yeah, that's what they're doing. Because there's very few Django's out here. Oh, there's a whole bunch of Stevens and Stevenettes. Oh, there's a whole bunch of who that on that nair? Who that? Monsieur Candy. They not here for no one-eyed Joe. They here for that gal. Yeah, we got a bunch of us, male and female, that's snitching to the enemy. We the ops. I said what I said. I'm done. Go ahead, somebody.
Well, I gotta run because I have to take my daughter to work. But just know,
give some closing words. Let's go.
Your peace is non-refundable. Your happiness is non-refundable. Your power is non-refundable. Stop giving these things to people that did not give it to you. It was not theirs to give you, so therefore they cannot take it away. Your power is yours. So use it. Use your power to make the change that you want to see in the world. So y'all go out there, continue being great in their face. Jack, I got you with me, girl. And as always, y'all have a good day on purpose. You will.
Sean P, come on, brother. Give me some closing words. You be good.
Yes, sir. A lot of us walk around carrying childhood traumas and other kind of traumas as well, man. Do your part and actively go and find some good circles to be around. Go and find some good people to be up under. Go and find some folks to pour into you from a genuine place and work on that thing day by day, man. You can't just sit around. It won't just fall into your lap. It won't be abracadabra. It's an active endeavor. You got to take on the challenge, man. Like she said, be great.
That part. Sean P. All right, family. It is almost 20 minutes after. We went 20 minutes over. No Elijah Nixon today with sports. He'll be back tomorrow. Jax will be back tomorrow for Work It Out Wednesday. Hopefully we put some things on your mind. Like I always tell people, I'm not here to tell you what to think or how to think, but I am here to tell you, you need to begin the process and start thinking. And understand that thought process has a lot to do with what you've been through, the trauma, good and bad, that you dealt with in your life, and seeing things from your learned and lived experiences. And we all haven't learned or lived the same way. So I can't always expect you to see it the way I see it, nor can I, on the other side, feel that way also. Sometimes I got to say, maybe what they went through is not what I went through, and maybe that's the reason they see it the way they see it. We can agree to disagree without becoming disagreeable. With that being said, be better today than you were yesterday, and do something today that no matter what you do or to whom you do it to, there's absolutely no earthly way you can pay them back. And always remember, keep this in the back of your mind. Put it in your pipe and smoke it, as my dad used to say. There is no secret, absolutely no secret, what God can do. What he has done for others, he will and he can do for you. For when God is with you, nothing or no one can stand against you. We'll be back tomorrow. More of all this great conversation. It's your early morning wake-up call. Get up, wake up. And we out. Peace.